We gon' run it, hit the field, blast off, watch them all fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Ay, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Ay, AFC North talk.
What's up, everybody? Me and Jared Bailey holding it down for this week. And it makes sense because this is also the week where the Browns and Steelers will be holding it down for the rest of the division. AFC North football, AFC North talk. I'm Quincy Carrier. Jared, how's everything going, man?
It's going, bud. I DoorDashed Red Lobster today. I had like one of those just like undeniable cravings like in the back of my head. I was like, man, I could go for like pasta and a biscuit. Decision I've made all week. Oh, it was great. I'm feeling it now, but it was great. Absolutely outstanding.
Like,
did you get your Spotify wrapped?
Yeah, I got my Spotify wrapped. Yeah, it's just basically all Kendrick and Future on there.
We have such different music tastes, and it's hilarious.
What was your Spotify wrapped?
A lot of like the Amity Affliction, Ice 9 Kills, Motionless in White.
Yeah, I don't know any of these.
Well, Motionless in White, you know, Rhea Ripley's theme song, they sing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know her theme song.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of.
Well, is this the one she had back in NXT?
No, it's her current one.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't been able to watch wrestling in like a year.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's been a minute.
But yes, regardless, that kind of music.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, different worlds meeting here, all to talk about football today. Browns, Steelers. Let's talk about the Bengals and the Cowboys. These two teams you said they're the same?
No, the Simpsons game. That's the reason that they couldn't flex it was because they did like all that Simpsons stuff that they're doing for it, and so
I know they thought they was gonna make money off this one. It was like, oh yeah, the Bengals. It's gonna be Joe Burrow. It's gonna be the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. We're gonna see these elite wide receivers go again. I know some executive was proud of himself at ABC when they secured that one. And boy, does he look like, is he not looking for anybody to fight him right now? Because this is a bad game. But we're getting, who is it? Cooper Rush in there at quarterback.
Gonna keep being Cooper Rush, I guess.
Versus Joe Burrow. And here's the crazy thing. I'm not like 100% confident the Bengals gonna win this game because I've seen the Bengals play down to competition like on a pretty consistent basis. Yeah. And this is ripe for a game that they play down to and then like get snuck up on. The only thing that I can say that the Bengals have going for them is I just don't see how many points that the Dallas Cowboys can truly put up on the Bengals, even though their defense is truly sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati might make it a challenge themselves. Be like, all right, you know, how many points can we surrender to Cooper Rush today? Let's find out.
They let Russ get 40 in 2024.
And like look at how they've played the rest of the NFC East alone. The Commanders put up a bunch of points. The Giants didn't put up a lot of points, but it went down to the wire, and it was an extremely low scoring game on Sunday Night Football. Philadelphia put up a ton of points. So NFC East hasn't been too kind to Cincinnati this year. Is this game in Dallas? I assume it is. I didn't look to see where it's being played at.
I have to imagine it's in Dallas, right? I don't think they do all this Disney stuff if the game is in Cincinnati. Like, well, just because it's a controlled environment, right? Like, if you're going to do all that digital animation, you're probably going to want the indoor environment. Also, because, like, ain't nobody doing all that technology laying it down in no Paul Brown Stadium. Like,
No. So yeah, my thing is just like, I mean, it's the same thing that we've talked about all year with Cincinnati. It's like, yeah, they'll probably be able to put up points. And it just depends on the matchup if their defense can prevent the other team from scoring a ton of points. So Cooper Rush, I can't foresee them putting up a ton of points offensively just because of who their quarterback is right now. They don't really have any semblance of a run game. Rico Dowdle's had like some spotty performances where he's looked okay. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Dallas coming into the year is like, wow, okay, Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook, huh? That's your plan. Well, good luck. So
now, Evan McPherson is on the IR for the Bengals, their kicker.
I did see that. I wonder who they're gonna bring in.
Mike Nugent. Just go old school.
That would be fun.
Bring him off the retirement.
Who was the Bengals kicker for like the longest time in the 2000s?
Ooh, was it Nugent?
I don't think it was Nugent. It was before Nugent.
Nugent was there, and then before. You're talking about before Nugent?
I'm talking about like 07. Who the hell was that? I think his number was 17. Bengals fans in the chat, you ought to remember.
Let's see if we get it in chat, but
it might.
I'll search Bengals kickers while you continue.
So yeah,
Shane Graham. You talking about Shane Graham?
Shane Graham, that's who it was. Yes, exactly. So yeah, Dallas. Like I don't expect anything from the Cowboys. It's just this has become such an unwatchable team since Dak went down. Like they were already bad, and then you lose Dak. Like any semblance of hope goes out the window. And this is a Mike McCarthy coach team with a stale offense, a bad quarterback, a defense that has some guys, but hasn't necessarily been on their P's and Q's all year either. So it's just one of those years for Dallas where you come into the year and you talk about, oh yeah, we're all in, except you didn't really spend any money on anybody at all. And this is kind of the result. Well, I shouldn't say you didn't spend any money because they paid CD and they paid Dak. External free agents hardly brought in any. So yeah, this just feels like one of those years for Dallas where they were a lot higher internally on what they had than everybody else was, and everybody else looks very correct right now because the lack of depth has been evident. So I expect Cincinnati to win. I don't know if that's going to turn around their season. They need so much help in order to have any shot at the playoffs now. But get the win, just still mathematically alive. So we'll see what the rest of it looks like for them. But yeah,
the Cowboys are just so beat up right now too, right? Because with CD's questionable, DeMarcus Lawrence just hit injured reserve. Zach Martin is questionable. Marshawn Nealon is questionable. Jake Ferguson questionable, and then say it was Trayvon Diggs. So I have to imagine the only thing they have going for them though, they have won 2 straight. And they beat the Washington Commanders, the New York Giants.
Yeah, they beat the Commanders in one of the weirdest games that you'll ever watch, and then they beat Drew Lock, or was it DeVito? I think it might have been Drew Lock.
It was Drew Lock.
Yeah,
it was Drew Lock on Thursday.
That shows you how much of that game I watched. I was very much. It was like, you want to watch Drew Lock against Cooper Rush? No.
I didn't have it in me to watch incompetent football after watching Matt Eberflus lose his job in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to imagine the Bengals are going to win this one. It would be hard to imagine they lose this one. Yeah, I just can't see a world where they don't pull this one out, right? Like
this game, fire everybody. Like stop the inevitable. Like you can't beat Cooper Rush, then why
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase healthy?
Why does anybody have a job on Tuesday morning if they can't win this game?
Yeah, but the Bengals do got some losses where they've had them healthy. I'm like, how does that ever happen? Right? The Patriots. Yeah, I mean, their losses aren't that bad though. Like outside that Patriots loss, to be fair to them, right? They lost to the Commanders when they were hot, the Chiefs when they were the Chiefs, the Eagles. I mean, it was a bad loss at the time, but the Eagles are playing significantly better football, and it started with that game against Cincinnati. The Ravens, it's not a bad loss. The Chargers, yeah, I just don't see them taking this bad of a loss, right?
And like a lot of their losses have come down to the wire, been one score. Both games against the Ravens were really close. The Chargers game was close. So it's not as if, obviously the Chiefs game was close. Like all of their losses, they just haven't been able to win close games, and that's been kind of their biggest Achilles heel this year. Like if you flip the results of like half of them, they're sitting at probably like at least like 8-4 at this point. So
except for that Eagles game, they got beat by 20 at that.
They got beat pretty handedly there.
Hey, it just comes down they can't run the ball, but I don't think that it's gonna matter that they can't run the ball against Dallas, right? Like, or they'll probably be able to run it pretty well. Right?
I wouldn't even say that they can't. They just choose not to. Like Chase Brown had a 40-yard run against the Steelers. Khalil Herbert came in, got a 15-yard carry, and then Zach Taylor said, "All right, that'll be enough of that." So like they are capable of doing it. I just think Zach Taylor and the Bengals offense they just choose not to for whatever reason.
All right. After 2 national TV games, Jameis Winston has thoroughly got his name back in well, we have like over 800 yards of passing on 2 national TV games. What he had 800 yards of passing, 4 touchdowns. I think he had 3 on Thursday Night Football, right?
He had 3 on. No, he had 1 against the Steelers, 3 against Denver.
He had 1 passing, I think 1 running, right?
Yeah. So what? 5 total touchdowns to 4 picks, 800 some yards. Yeah, that sounds about Jameis.
Yeah, look, this is exactly what you expect. I see people like, oh, the Browns aren't going to be able to afford Jameis if they want him back. I'm like, this is exactly what everybody expects Jameis Winston to be. And they putting that raw, uncut Jameis on the field right now, right? Like they just like, yeah, throw it 58 times. Let's see what happens. like this is just pure Jameis on display.
This is the director's cut Jameis Winston. Like this
exactly the thing that I pointed out, I'll go point this out in the film breakdown that I'm doing earlier that I find fascinating about this is like Jameis Winston, like, yeah, okay, you throw the ball 58 times, but like a lot of times when you see a quarterback do this, you watch this with Ben, it's a lot of jabs, right? Like it's a lot of like, little check downs here. Basically, you're choosing to throw short because you don't have a run game. And you're trying to create a run game by spreading the defense out and trying to create gaps that way, right? Like it's basically extended handoffs a lot of times, right? When you get to like 58 passing attempts. Jameis Winston got to 58 and Jared, they were all haymakers. Like he was throwing uppercuts in the 12th round of that game, dog. Like up until that last pick 6, the throw before it, I'm like, he almost made an incredible throw if it wasn't for that pass interference. It's just a fascinating thing to watch because like it's like an incredible stamina. I think the last time I was this impressed by a quarterback stamina that I like noticed it was like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl against the Falcons that year, where I'm like, good Lord, did he just throw a field side out clean in like fucking overtime at 40 years old? And then Jameis, he tried to do that a couple times. He worked once, they got picked off twice, right? That's just how it is. But Browns play Pittsburgh. The Browns have not won in Pittsburgh in a very long time. I think Tim Couch was the last quarterback to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh in the regular season. Obviously, we know the Browns won in the pandemic. No fans there in Pittsburgh in front of 40 million people, according to Nielsen records. They blew out the Pittsburgh Steelers that day.
Got the Nielsen records on hand.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. The peak of the Baker Mayfield era, I would say.
Absolutely.
I think this game's gonna be interesting, right? Because I think both teams have provided quote unquote locker room material for this week, right? I'm sure Mike Tomlin has been in TJ Watt's ear about, he thinks he's the best and trying to get him charged up for this one. And I'm sure if TJ gets a sack, he's going to do his thing and like celebrate super hard, and Steeler fans are going to chant very unnice things to Myles Garrett. And then I think also if you're the Browns, the whole George Pickens, they're not a good team. I mean, true, but like, you ain't had to say it at that time, right? But I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Look, I have watched enough of these games to know that this is not going to go well, even if we had a franchise quarterback. Like, you have to expect that things go wrong if you're Cleveland when you go into Pittsburgh, and that things are going to go right for Pittsburgh in that game. When Jameis Winston is your quarterback, and that's the case, I'm going to let you know right now, Jared, I'm expecting full-scale chaos, and it's not going to be anything that benefits the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, like when we were talking going into the Thursday night game, it was like a thing like just kind of waiting for that Jameis game to happen, and it just so happened like it happened against Denver, where he finally like exploded with the interceptions and stuff. He had one against Pittsburgh, but even so, it was near the end of the game, in a blizzard. So like you kind of put an asterisk next to that.
Yeah, 3 against the Chargers too.
Did he have 3 against the Chargers?
Yeah.
I don't know why I must have erased that from my mind.
It was pretty it was pretty forgettable. They got beat down in that game.
Okay, fair enough then. Yeah, going just off the history of this. The Steelers have won the last 20 regular season games against Cleveland at home. So you have to go back to, I think it was 2003. So I think you're right. I think it would have been Tim Couch that year that would have beat them at home. That was also the last year the Steelers had a losing record. Fun fact. So yeah, it was a bad year. 6-10 that year. So historically speaking, yeah, this hasn't been a fun game for the Browns. And like over the last like handful of years, like we've seen just like total beatdowns. The Baker during the pandemic, Baker threw a pick 6 to Mink Fitzpatrick in the Pittsburgh Cleveland game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, on cover 1. Yeah, I remember that.
Mink just read it like a book, and Baker still threw it.
He looked at it too. He just watched it. Like, yeah.
He just watched him creep up. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll still get it there.
Like, I'll beat him with the ball. This isn't Big 12.
So like there's been games like that where Pittsburgh just like blows them out. So I don't know. There's like certainly like a thing right now in the rivalry where the home team just wins the game, and I don't expect it to be too different this week. I'm excited to see, if you watch Hard Knocks yet, I'm excited to see the material that comes from Hard Knocks next week.
Oh no, I've not been able to watch it yet.
You should. It's pretty. I was kind of hesitant on watching it, but I saw everybody like tweeting about it. I was like, all right, I'll watch it. It was good. I liked it.
I'm gonna watch it. I want to get on my elliptical and do it.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
give myself some cardio to go on. That's how I took the Giants Hard Knocks, which was pretty fun, right?
You just did cardio watching Joe Shen not re-sign Saquon Barkley.
It was fascinating. I was like, wow, they stink, dog. Like, I remember watching that offseason Hard Knocks, and like so many people were like trying to come up with takes like, oh, Joe Sheen didn't do this. I'm like, I watched that show and I'm like, hey man, your favorite podcaster is not that far away from being in the NFL front office. Like conversations are not that.
Your favorite podcaster isn't too far away from becoming a head coach. Apparently, JJ Redick just did it. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I have seen the conversations that they have, and I'm like, oh, I have heard draft podcasts where I'm like, they had a better conversation about this. Like
my like toxic trait is firmly believing that I could turn around a bad team in like 3 years.
I don't know if I could do all of that, right? Because that encompasses like being in charge of everybody. Right. I definitely think I could be one of them dudes that's like, I don't know if that's a good decision, though, right? So there's like 12 of those guys, right? Like I could be one of those guys, right? You could be assistant director of player personnel.
Yeah, you could be like assistant general manager, or director of player, something like that. Where you just kind of in the GM's ear and be like, hey man, respectfully, that's a bad idea.
Hey, homeboy on the Giants was like, I don't know. I don't know about on that one, man. But back to the Browns game here. Yeah, Hard Knocks is going to be fun to see with this one. I don't remember ever watching a close Browns-Steelers game in Pittsburgh.
I think 2007. It was like week 2.
Yeah. The Josh Cribbs one. Yeah, this team don't got the magic that I think is required to be able to break that one, right? Like a 3-9 Browns team is not going to be the one that breaks the whole 20-year curse and all of this stuff of everything built into it. I just have a hard time buying that this is going to be the year. Maybe you get a crazy Jameis game, but I feel like because he threw for 500 yards, you're probably going to get a little bit chilled out. Because also, like, the thing I don't think people think about, when you throw for that many passes and they're all haymakers and you're on like a semi-short week, your arm's not going to feel great the next Sunday.
Right.
So
it's like when a pitcher goes like for like a complete game, and it's like, all right, that in 5 days it's not going to be the same if I just went like 6 2/3. Like I'm going to be feeling it a little bit more.
In the way I look at Jameis, I'm like, a lot of this would make more sense if we just looked at him like a baseball player, right? Where it's like, okay, he has a pitch count, right? Like Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback that you can have if you got a relief pitcher. Where you're like, all right, we're at 40, get the righty in. get the righty in, right? Because once you get over 40, he don't got the stamina to be out here trying to do all the things that he wants to do. He's just gonna throw a bunch of interceptions. But yeah, pitch count for Jameis Winston. This is why a run game is important if you try to win games with him. In reality,
So,
one other thing.
Speaking of that, is Nick Chubb just kind of cooked at this point? Like, respectfully speaking, Nick Chubb.
So I watched the film on it. I don't think he's cooked. I think he still has like the burst and the cut. I think what he's struggling with right now is his contact balance and regaining that. I think that this has to do with like he needs another offseason program where he's healthy to kind of get back to the strength and weight that he wants to get to, because he doesn't feel as confident with his body right now as he usually does. And I remember feeling that same way about Derrick Henry and thinking, oh, yeah, it's about to be over with for him. He can't finish as powerfully. And then look what fucking happened, right? Like, so I think it's more or less he just needs to get back to where he should be strength-wise, because he came back. You can't really lift like you want to once you're back in the regular season. So I think you give him an off season, he'll be better than what he is. Now, will he be Nick Chubb again? I don't know. That's a tough ask, right? That's somebody who averaged 5 yards a carry for his whole career. But he'll be much better than what this version of him is. Did I lose Jared? Or yeah, I think he paused out here real quick. We'll get to some super chats while we wait for Jared to roll back in. Here we go, Pitt, with a very bold decision here. He's going with the booty beat down 2 weeks in a row. Do I have the graphic, ladies and gentlemen? He's predicting another one. Will this come back to bite him in the ass? I don't know. Hey, look, Jared's got a booty beat down correct. Chat's got a booty beat down correct. Like, is this the end of the booty beat down curse? I don't know. Certainly feels like it could be. Mark with a super chat. How did Hard Knocks leave out the Deontay Johnson drama? A player refusing to go in and getting suspended is like striking gold. You know, that happened with Jadeveon Clowney in Cleveland a couple of years ago. It doesn't shock me that this is happening with Deontay Johnson right now. And if we get Jarrett back soon, I want to talk to him about the history of wide receivers in Pittsburgh. So actually, we got him right here. Jarrett, they brought up the whole Deontay Johnson thing, and I had a post on Blue Sky that I wanted to read out here because I think it's amazing. I think it's an amazing stat here. Basically, if Mike Tomlin is offering you a wide receiver you think is pretty decent, stay the fuck away from that trade. Like, I'm so serious. You never need to make that trade. Because like if Mike Tomlin's giving up on him, that man has no hope left. Martavius Bryant, after he got traded from Pittsburgh, his career numbers, 19 receptions, 257 yards, hasn't gotten a stat since 2018. He was traded in 2017. Antonio Brown might be the most successful of all of these guys, also by a metric ton the most talented of all these guys. But still, Antonio Brown, 91 receptions. In 3 years on 3 separate teams, he had 1,084 yards combined. So it's not like he's killing it, right? Like, it's like, oh, he's just kind of getting like 300 yards per team. Deontay Johnson, 31 receptions, 363 yards. Chase Claypool, this crash out has to be studied. It's 22 amazing. Receptions, 217 yards. And I believe he is on his third team if you count off-season members, because he is a practice squad member of the Buffalo Bills. Did you know that? He was on a Buffalo Bills practice squad.
I did. As someone who covers the Bills pretty closely, when I saw that they signed, it was like at the end of May. I was like, oh, really? Chase Claypool, huh? Because obviously got traded to the Bears. They traded him to Miami for like a 7th round pick in 2026. So basically nothing. And then they tried to basically make him like a hybrid receiver tight end. That didn't work out. They cut him.
Oh, no. He's on the Devin Gardner. Oh, not the Devin Gardner. What's his name? Devin Funchess.
Kelvin Benjamin type situation. Yeah. And then he hurt his toe during either minicamp or training camp, so they put him on IR. But I guess he's still like technically on the team. I'd have to go back and look. But
brother, you know how bad you got to be an accomplished wide receiver and still be on the Bills practice squad. Like they need dudes to catch the ball, man.
So
did Keon Coleman get hurt?
Keon Coleman, yeah. So he's been hurt the last couple weeks because Jordan Poyer hit him when they were playing the Dolphins. So yeah, they've had to really turn to like Mac Hollins just had a touchdown catch. They got, they're using Curtis Samuel a little bit more. But Khalil Shakir's nice. I like watching him play. He's fun.
Bro, they don't even got him dressing. That's the thing that's crazy about this. They're not even like, hey, we might need to go to Chase Claypool.
Right. But yeah, like with the Deontay stuff, like it's crazy. I agree. I don't know how none of this got on Hard Knocks. So that's pretty wild. Unless the Ravens are like, hey, like don't put any of this on there, which I don't know how much say they have in that, but regardless, I put it out there earlier. I was like, if it wasn't for Mike Tomlin, I'm convinced that George Pickens would be doing like GTA side missions right now. Like it would just be crazy. So
imagine you got drafted as like the Panthers, right? Like someone with absolutely no leadership, right? Like
he was in
Vegas.
Can you imagine
Antonio Pierce?
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't trust Antonio.
No, I need somewhere because like it's still in Vegas, you got Max Crosby. Like you got veterans in the Vegas locker room.
That's a good point.
Like you ain't got nobody in that Carolina locker room. Well, he might be like, imagine George Pickens in a situation where he the vet.
Adam Thielen. I think that's kind of the only one there.
Yeah. And Adam Thielen ain't trying to do none of that no more. Like
Adam Thielen. Like every time I see a press thing with Adam Thielen, I'm like, man, that dude's tired. He does not want to do this anymore. So
he just here so he get paid. He not doing all that extracurricular activity. Look, as a fan of a team that used to be as sorry consistently as the Carolina Panthers are, yeah, you sign somebody like Willie McGinnis and you thinking you getting a locker room leader. What you getting is Willie McGinnis on his day off every day. Okay, like,
he's collecting a check, and you know what? That's fine for him. But yeah, bro, like it's when you see all of this stuff happen, like. And in hindsight, with all of the examples that we have, Mike Tomlin deserves like a Nobel Prize for being able to handle all this shit. Not to, like, there's been some dudes that like haven't found like as much success, but weren't like nutcases. Like Mike Wallace wasn't nearly as good once he went to Miami and Minnesota and Baltimore briefly. He kind of had like a little renaissance in Baltimore to end his career. But I don't know. Emmanuel Sanders did fine once he left Pittsburgh. If anything, he probably got a little bit better because he was more of a feature piece in Denver. So like there's been the rare example of guys that at that position that thrive once they leave. But yeah, especially if like Tomlin and everybody's like, okay, let's just get him out of here. Don't take the bait.
If they make a personality decision that they're moving away, that's when you're like, oh, okay, no, this ain't never gonna work, right?
Yeah.
Like they have seen something in there that's beyond a red flag. Because Mike Tomlin, look at the red flag, I can work with that, right? Like that's what makes him Mike Tomlin. But Antonio Brown got to that point where he's like, nah, ship him off. Chase Claypool got to that point, and I don't know what Deontay Johnson be out there doing, right? Because we don't be hearing about none of this publicly, but he must piss people off.
I mean, there's a reason that they didn't get a whole lot. I mean, they got Dante Jackson, who's played really well, but they didn't get like a higher draft pick for him because they basically did a pick swap as part of the trade.
Season of football here, and Deontay Johnson has been on it to here. Take this motherfucking deals,
right? Yep.
Like, just take them, okay.
And the fact that Carolina was one of them, be like, yeah, he's our best receiver. Take him, get rid of him now. Like, please go. Like that's even crazier.
Yeah, yeah. Take them deals, and then like you got hit with the team suspension. Like
Right.
nuts. What's there to what? He must be a jerk or something, dog. Like I don't know. I've never seen somebody just like outstay their welcome this fast. He's been new 2 places, and he's already overstayed 2 welcomes.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Antonio Brown is watching this like, damn, bro, slow down.
Like at least in Carolina, like, you know, he had like an entire off season stuff and, you know, a lot of time in the regular season. Like Baltimore, he's been there what, like a month? Like that's crazy.
And let me tell you something, man. He pissed off everybody. He pissed off Lamar Jackson the first game. He was out there. I remember watching. I'm like, oh, yeah, he didn't finish running around or he held there to block or something. I'm like, that's it, man. Like,
yeah, this thing's
Lamar not going to let that go. Like, Lamar hate that shit. Like, and that was the whole thing about the trade. I didn't see made sense because I'm like, hey, man, I get the idea of going for Deontay Johnson. It's free. But you are also introducing a man into that locker room who does everything that Lamar Jackson hates. Like everything on the field. He not gonna be where he's supposed to be. Lamar hate that. He gonna drop passes. Lamar hates that. He not gonna block. Lamar hates that. Like you are setting up to just give your quarterback a migraine at the end of the day for what? 60 receiving yards, if even that. Like. Yeah, it never made much sense. So
it felt very impulsive too, where like during the Cleveland game, you see that Rashad Bateman drop and like, fuck it, just trade for Deontay Johnson right now. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
Somebody who can catch the ball.
Like right. Like Deontay Johnson, the guy who led the NFL in drops a few years ago.
The Ravens do so much well scouting that it makes me wonder. I'm like, well, why do they keep going at the wide receivers who cannot catch?
No idea.
Like, do they just not value that? Like, do they think that catching is just like it's like run backs to some front offices? We're like, it's just a matter of how you get the ball to them, right?
I think every front office has their weaknesses. I mean, even Belichick couldn't draft in the first round to save his life, especially when it came to receivers. So, like, I think just every team, every front office has some semblance of weakness where they either just can't develop a certain position, they can't draft a certain position, and apparently wide receiver for the most part, with the exception of like Zay Flowers, has been that for Baltimore.
The thing is, we keep saying that with Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is cool, but like
Zay Flowers is good.
Yeah, he's good. I'm just saying, like, Zay Flowers ain't gonna be one of the top 15 receivers in the NFL.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like I think he's I think that like on a great like Super Bowl like high powered passing offense, he's a number 2, not a number 1.
Brandon Cooks, right? Like it's like, okay, you got like that guy who could help you out, make a play here, but like you're not about to just like lean on him. And that's the thing with Baltimore. Even when they hit on that guy, right? Like they get the number 2 receiver, right? Like they've tried so many times to get the one guy. Like Hollywood Brown was the same exact thing there, right?
I forgot about Hollywood Brown.
Yeah. Leading receiver board, that was drafted by Baltimore, I believe, in that franchise's history. So it's just fascinating how they continue to not get wide receivers. Maybe they figure out something during the bye week. They're on the bye week. By the way, people asking where Ace and Sonny are. They could not make today's show, unfortunately. You know how it gets around the holidays. Availability kind of gets scarce. So if you're wondering where they're at, they'll be back next week. No worries about that. So feel good about our picks here.
I think Ace had a birthday, maybe.
Oh yeah. Ace had something, but
yeah,
you feel good about our picks. I think we both agreed, right? We're both taking Cincinnati. We're both taking Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like history just says that the home team for Steelers Browns is usually going to win this, especially in the past like 5 years. So I think the Steelers. By the way, Steelers are going to get 10-3. Man, if you'd have told me that coming into the year, Q, I would have been very, very, very happy. So
yeah, man, you would have told me the Browns would be 3-10.
Yeah, sorry about that.
3-10, and definitely, like I heard somebody who works for the Browns radio network say, yeah, you can't go back to Watson. And I'm like, okay, at
Oh,
least we're doing that. Like,
yeah, that's a
cool.
positive step at least.
Like, at least we ain't running it back. But yeah, it's been a tough year for the Cleveland Browns.
How many Deshaun Watson's games, like passing yards wise, would you have to add up to get to what Jameis just did?
Oh, Jameis did like 3 of Deshaun's games, right?
That sounds
Like,
about right.
no, you want to hear a funner fact? I was
Yeah.
talking about this with JP. Where like Amari Cooper has had a 265-yard game. Jerry Jeudy's had a 235-yard game, both obviously without Deshaun Watson as the quarterback. Deshaun Watson's highest passing yard game as a Cleveland Brown is 297 yards. So if you go by Deshaun Watson's like total passing yard, like in a game, 297, and then you could slot in 265 for Amari Cooper.
Oh my goodness.
35 for Jerry Jeudy, and then everything else Deshaun Watson has ever done in the Cleveland Brown uniform.
Who was the quarterback for Amari? Was it Flacco last year?
It was Joe Flacco. Yes. By the way, Elijah Moore, first 100-yard game as a Cleveland Brown. Wonder why.
Wonder why. That's been I liked when they did that trade too, by the way. I thought that was a really good idea.
Been more evidence that one man was the problem for an offense. More than, like, have we ever seen a more clear case than this?
For your sake,
I don't think we have.
I hope that they just kind of Band-Aid off. I mean, for your sake, I don't know if they're gonna. We said that all year before he got hurt. It's like, bro, rip it off, and they were pretty adamant that they weren't gonna. So I hope they do.
Here's why I think they are. I don't think Kevin Stefanski thinks that Jameis Winston is good at quarterback. That's why he ain't out there calling the plays. He don't think he don't trust him, right? Like he's pretty mediocre, right? At the end of the day, right? Once you add it all up, he could throw, he could do some things that are above average, but it's like, I don't think he believes in him, right? And I keep making this point because people get mad because like when they want to ride the Jameis train, they get mad that you don't want to be all the way on the train with him. I'm like, nah, Jameis is mediocre, but like I've known what Jameis was and what he wasn't. When people were telling me that Deshaun is better than Jameis, I was like, you're on crack if you think that. Like that's not even close to being true. But the thing about Jameis is that he's not that good. And this is the difference that the offense is made by just putting somebody who is simply mediocre in instead of Deshaun Watson. Like, we're not seeing the upgrade from going from like Deshaun Watson to Joe Burrow in this offense. No. We're seeing the difference. If you put Jake Brown into this offense, brother, we'd be thinking this shit is amazing. Like this is what they're realizing. Like, yo, we don't even think James is that good.
I mean, to stick with the water analogies that we've made. I mean, anything tastes great when you go from like Flint, Michigan water. If you just get normal tap water, I mean, that tap water is going to look like Fiji water compared to what you just had.
You know what? I'll put it like this. I remember when I realized that the Great Khali will never have a good match, right? It's when I saw Kane and Big Show wrestle each other. I'm like, ooh, they moving. And I'm like, okay, no. He just sucks. Like, okay, there's just no excuse. He can't move if I'm watching Kane and Big Show fight. And I'm like, man, they're getting around it, right? Like, it's like, yeah, man, there's no excuse, dog.
Whenever he won the title and held it upside down, I think that was kind of a good.
Yeah, because like with Joe Flacco, I think they fooled themselves into being like, hey, man, like Joe Flacco's a former Super Bowl champion.
Right.
He was on a really high streak. He was playing out of his mind. They're like, dog, Jameis Winston is just mashing these buttons at times. And it's so much more effective than Deshaun Watson ever was. It's like, oh my God, get him off the keys. Like literally go after Sam Darnold. You could put Daniel Jones in the offense next year. It would be better than this. Would you be a great team? No. But would you be better on offense? Yeah, and that's the damning part about all of this. Now, I wonder how unaware of this Deshaun Watson is, because I do think that there is an off chance that Deshaun Watson believes that the problem is actually Cleveland and request to get out of this situation, right? And hopefully he does, because you want to buy out this contract, sure, buddy. Like, yeah, you want out? Like, let me tell you, I will do an emergency stream with a smile on my face if I get 2 pieces of news. David Malgetta has dropped Deshaun Watson from his agency.
Oh man, that would be something, wouldn't it?
And then you know what's going to follow that? Diana Rossini. Deshaun Watson is disgruntled and does not want to play for the Cleveland Browns. He has made it clear that he is requesting a trade. And the quote tweets to that burst of unawareness from the Deshaun Watson camp, because I don't think people are aware of how unaware these people are, because y'all don't like interact with these folks, right?
Oh, who is it? Is it Quincy Avery, one of them? Where it was like, yeah, actually, just Deshaun Watson's not the brother. Okay, Quincy, sure.
Yeah. See, look, I have had to deal with the Deshaun Watson camp, so I know exactly what they're thinking, and I'm like, yeah, man, they gonna do some dumb shit like that, and act like he got a market, and maybe they succeed. I hope they succeed, because if that means that he gets bought out, and the Cleveland Browns maybe eat 1 year off that, like, okay, yeah, we'll eat 70 this year and just be good with it. All right, bro. But you've noticed Deshaun wasn't tweeting all happy things after they beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. He was doing that last year, right? You've noticed no podcast with him and Quincy Avery, right? It's interesting. You notice he's gone radio silent on social media. That didn't happen the last 2 times he got injured, right? He's still, talking about his guys and the team and all that, because I think he's about to do the thing like, oh, Deshaun Watson has scrubbed any mention of the Cleveland Browns from his social media. Like, he's gonna act like he has the leverage to force a trade.
Do you think that he's just like dumb enough to think that there's a team that would like trade for him or sign him?
I think he's unaware enough.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I think they're delusional about this, man. Like, they still think he's a franchise quarterback. They still think he's a superstar quarterback. And I think the one thing that woke the Browns up from it was not having a favorable opinion about Jameis. Like, this team was about to bench Jameis Winston for DTR because that's how fed up they were of him. And like, DTR is not that good. That's what they think of James. Yeah. And that dude is destroying everything you've ever done in this uniform. Like, that, I think, to them was like, you can sell that to Jimmy Haslam and be like, hey, bro, he's a dud. Like, it is what it is. We didn't expect him to be this bad. But do you think Deshaun Watson has the humility to look at a situation where there's overwhelming evidence against what he's claiming and admit that he might be part of the problem?
There's certainly not a historical context that shows that he would do exactly that.
I tend to think that that's not going to be something that Deshaun Watson does, right? It's been 4 years, right? Like, so, yeah, I do think he's going to do something. I do think that there's a chance that he does something like that, because he's like, oh, I don't want to sit for 2 years. They're going to tell me I'm not going to play. I'm going to think that's bullshit. And, if I sit for 2 years, I'm going to be 32 years old, and I had played 17 games since 2020. Nobody's going to want to pick me up after that, right? But somebody might want me at 29, coming off an Achilles injury, right? Like, he's going to talk himself into it. They're going to talk him into it, because they're going to be like, well, it's a quarterback desperate league. He's still a guy who has a history as a quarterback. And maybe somebody from Carolina does the Browns a favor and be like, hey, man, we'll do it. And then doesn't do it. Like,
that would be, the funniest outcome could be like San Antonio Brahmas quarterback Deshaun Watson. That would be like the funniest outcome. I don't think that will happen where he goes to the UFL or anything, but I mean,
why would if I'm the UFL, you absolutely don't bring in Deshaun Watson. Like,
you don't think so? I mean, it would get eyeballs.
It's not like Johnny Manziel, where people actually want to see Johnny Manziel play, right?
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Like, if Deshaun Watson plays good in the UFL.
Watchers.
Yeah, well, it's not even hate watchers. It's going to be people are going to just watch it to take a screenshot of him in a UFL jersey and then just use that to meme him. But like, Deshaun Watson is not that appealing of like a personality, or even like his style of play was not so intoxicating. Like, if this were somebody like Antonio Brown, who still was playing well but then crashed out the league, there's some value in watching him tear up some dudes who would be on some practice squad. Deshaun Watson would be completely unappealing to the UFL, because you're not going to bring in extra eyeballs. All you're going to bring in is horrible coverage for your league. And then, like, he might still suck, and it's not like those teams are individually owned. So the league's gonna take what the league needs is gonna take precedent. So like it's not like one owner can be like, I want to get Deshaun Watson so I can win the cup this year. It's like that's not how that works. Maybe in Canada they do this.
Maybe.
But can Deshaun Watson get through customs? I don't know.
Brad Kelly plays up in Canada, so I maybe.
Yeah, that's true. So so maybe he got the passport ID, right? But that's it. Like, I don't know what he does here realistically going forward, because like I don't think he ever wants to play in Cleveland again. And you look at it from his perspective, he got booed after tearing his Achilles.
He sure did.
Do you come back and play for this? Do you come back and play for them?
I mean, I know I wouldn't, like, regardless of like whatever. I'm just talking about that specifically. Like, if I was in his shoes and I got booed after,
we're gonna get like for the next 2 years workout videos of like Deshaun Watson. Like, it's gonna be.
It's going to be like the polar opposite. Like, take like the Colin Kaepernick stuff, a guy who was like actually wronged. This is going to be the polar opposite.
No, it's going to be dark side Colin Kaepernick. That's exactly where I was going with this, right? Where I'm like, oh no, we gonna hear about all these workouts and stuff, and everybody's like, nah, bro, like, no, we good on this.
Oh god, it is going to be like that too. That's rough.
Yeah, because I can't imagine who would be desperate enough. Because like, he's so bad too. Like, that's the thing. If this would have happened to him at the end of 2023, before he was so historically bad that mediocre Jameis Winston looks like a god in comparison to him, then he might have had a chance to land somewhere else. Because you can make the argument like, hey man, he was playing winning football. He has taken all of that away. And like, why would you want to do this if you're literally any other team in the NFL or like any other football entity? Like, who's doing it? Fan control football?
Is that still a thing?
I don't know. I don't think so. Right?
Maybe
like,
I think the Arena League came back, so maybe them.
Yeah, and he got too much money to be out here playing in the Arena League.
I mean,
Jared, what you gonna do if somebody walk in, you know they got $230 million and you gotta work a part-time job just to play football for the Arena football team? You gonna get that man set up.
Yeah, fucking San Jose Rattle Cats or whatever the fuck they're
got him out there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Like there's no shot, dog. Like, he's done. But I don't think he realizes that he's done. Or like maybe he does realize he's done and he just stays on pup until 2027 and just quietly just disappears.
Where they just like, bro, just stay home. Like, we'll pay you. Just go stay away. Maybe.
But that would require self-awareness.
Sure, it sure would. It sure would.
I'm sorry. I've watched this man demonstrate a shocking lack of self-awareness over 3 years. Like,
that'll be one of the things I'm very much looking forward to seeing in the offseason, just of like anybody. Like, in terms of like what could happen with this whole thing, I will be awaiting the notification. And it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be like Aaron Rodgers is displeased with the Jets. It's like, oh yeah, that's why they're going. That's why this is happening, huh, Aaron?
Yeah, like say what you want about Aaron and him being like goofy. Like, at least he's not, Deshaun Watson.
No, I'm saying like you're gonna get these two reports where it's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to control the narrative. This is what I want to happen. It is like, are you sure you are the one who wanted this to happen? It's like, I didn't get fired. I quit. Like Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, both about to hit the I get fired, I quit button. I was like, nah, dog. Right. It feels like you got fired. Like,
hey, maybe 2025 Cleveland Browns quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Maybe.
On a Russ deal, it could happen.
It could.
It could easily happen. I think the Browns wanted to get Aaron after 2020, even when Baker played well. So like that could happen. I could easily see Sam Darnold looking around and being like, oh, the New York Giants, the fucking Jets. He doesn't want to go back there again. The Raiders, and thinking, I could do Cleveland for 2 years.
I'll go play under Kevin Stefanski and tear some shit up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that'd be fine there, and the Browns would be happy to wait on quarterback till 2027 and then just like take one there. And he'll be paid handsomely for it, especially if he does anything past 2027, where the Browns could just backload the deal and just be like, all right, just throw you money that way.
Yeah, if you want to do like, because he's on a 1 for 10 right now deal. If they did like 2 for 30, like a 2 for 26, something like that, with maybe some incentives thrown in there if they like go to the playoffs or win a playoff game, you could probably do something like that.
Yeah, the API is like, I think the no-go mark is like anything approaching 18 APY, right? Like at that point, no, that's Geno Smith money, right?
Right.
You know, we're in the high tier Gardner Minshew world. Hey man, why not? Right? Like I feel like that could work out there too. But I think their lack of belief in Jameis Winston and then the performance that he has been the death knell in Deshaun Watson, because like I do not have anything that tells me that the people coaching feel like we're like sleeping on Jameis.
Well, I mean, ain't nobody gonna cry any tears for him, bud. So I'm not. Whatever happens. What's that burner account that everybody's convinced is him?
Leroy Watson.
Leroy Bickerstaff or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. But it's been a fascinating 3 years of roller coaster ride up and down. I just have a hard time believing they're going to find a way to get out of it this offseason. But I think we are heading a collision point where both sides are very unhappy with each other. And who knows what happens, man? Who knows what happens? Because I don't think it's going to be, Deshaun's just going to back up Jameis Winston all next year. Like that's a crazy.
You're not going to pay him all that money to be a backup either. So I think that you just kind of eat.
I mean, you're going to pay him all that money to do something, right? Like
I know, I get it.
But so I just don't think you benching him is going to end amicably in him being like, okay, I'll be a backup, right? Like that's not going to go down. He's not going to take, his ego is not going to take that demotion, because again, this man, up until the day he popped that Achilles, was like, nah, we going to turn this around because we got me. But y'all have a great day. Me and Jared on the show again. Thank you guys for supporting, chatting in. Everybody have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.